Bonjour, my name is David Devere. I'm a wine and spirits educator and world traveler. You're watching Savvy Nomad TV. This is episode number 11 of Tasting Tiny Little Bottles of Whiskey. Today we're going to taste an Arbikie single malt Scotch and Puni. This is an Italian malted whiskey, and their facility is up at elevation in the Italian Alps. Arbikie makes a statement in the guidebook about how they are a farm to glass producer. They grow their own barley and then they malt and distill it right on site. Everything is done in one self-contained area. And I think that's an interesting approach, and I'm going to talk about that and how it relates to whiskey versus wine. In wine, particularly in France, they have a system called Appellation d'Origine Contrôlée, and now that got changed during the European Union to call it Protected Geographic Indication. And you can apply for a Protected Geographic Indication if you can prove a certain number of factors. And so the way in wine it works is this. You have you're growing or you're producing the grape variety that is historical standard in the area. You are growing the grape in a historic way and harvesting it in a historic way. That could be mechanical versus by hand. You are aging the wine and producing the wine in a historic way, for example, using an oak barrel or not. And then you're using a bottle that is indicative of the region. It's a shape, bottle shape that everybody else is using. And if you do all of these things, then you can use the name of the region on the label. You're not required to do any of them. But if you don't do them, then you can't use the name of the region on the label. If you think back to a couple episodes ago, we had that whiskey from Brittany. They had gone through the process of applying for a protected geographic indication so that the consumers knew that this was a whiskey directly from Brittany. This reminds me of the Breckenridge whiskey that said, look, we're making whiskey in Breckenridge. Well, yes, they're finishing the whiskey in Breckenridge, but they're sourcing some of their whiskey from Indiana or Kansas, or we don't really know. The Arbikie people are making a strong point here that the ingredients are important. The ingredients are the things that make the final product the thing that is superior or inferior. Michael Chapoutier, who is a famous winemaker and successful winemaker from the south of France, said anyone can make good wine out of good grapes, but no one can make good wine out of bad grapes. Meaning it doesn't matter what your skill set is. If you can't source good ingredients, you're not going to make a good product. And everybody kind of knows that. I mean, if you've got chipboard versus marine plywood, if you've got homegrown tomatoes versus tomatoes you buy at the store this time of year that are kind of green and mealy, the product is representative of the ingredient. And it'll be interesting to see if when we taste this Arbikie, if we can really taste a difference in the product. I hope so. It's Solstice today. It's the darkest day of the year and the light is coming back. Thank goodness. In northern Minnesota, this seems like this time of year is so dark so early. Anyway, we are going to go and taste these two whiskeys, and we'll see if we can taste that farm to glass expression. Okay, let's go. Okay, instead of being outside in the cold, we decided to bring you to the top of our fireplace for this Solstice tasting. If you're watching this on the 21st of December, it's Solstice Day, and if you believe our planet is round instead of flat, you're not a flat earther, then you know that it tilts on its axis.
Yeah.
And that tilt right now is us tilting away from the sun, and now we're tilting toward the sun. For our southern hemisphere neighbors, they are tilting away from the sun now. They're done with their summer and they're going into fall.
What's ironic is as we get more light, this is the first day of winter, so it's just going to be cold.
Cold,
but
cold, cold.
At least we know there's hope the sun is returning.
Yes. And so here's our Yule log that we set up as our display for our tasting today. Our first whiskey is what I called a farm to glass whiskey. This is a family farm that produces everything. They grow the grain, they distill the liquid, they do everything. And in the lesson I talked about AOC qualifications in France and how that's very, very similar. Sarah doesn't watch those lessons. She watches them after the video is produced, so I'm filling her in on what I talk about.
All right. Well, Arbikie, if that's how you say it, from Scotland. Fun. Probably the most famous.
Oh, and what is that aroma?
Oh, well, there's a very interesting aroma you might notice.
I noticed something. It's almost...
Should I tell you?
I want to say a little bit tropical.
Oh,
is
I
that
don't know
right?
About that. They say a nose of caraway seeds, blackberries, citrus, cocoa, and vanilla pods. So vanilla pods would be tropical.
Gosh, it's so interesting.
I mean, caraway, we don't really eat a lot of caraway, so I might have a hard time identifying it, although that is an aroma that is strong. It can be. Oh, I think it smells like cucumber. It's got kind of a thick, oily smell in a good way.
Oh, it's big in the mouth.
Oh, that is interesting.
And it's quite complex. Complexity means, that you're getting more than one aroma from the taste. Not just the sensation of the smell. But it kind of smelled earthy, a little bit herbal, a little dusty.
Yeah, but I also felt like it smelled like watery, like a cucumber, like thirst quenching, like a cucumber.
Oh, thirst quenching, huh?
Palate, cloves, forest berries, that's woodsy. Orange zest, black tea, and caramel wafer. Finish, ripe stone fruit, dark chocolate, and black tea. And for me, some burning.
Incredibly unique. This is
very unique.
I've never tasted this flavor profile.
Yeah, that was a very interesting one. Good job to them.
We'll put that there. Now we're going to go to the Italians.
Oh wait, do you have a price on this one?
Yes, I do. Around $100, 99 pounds in the UK. I don't know if you can find it here. You probably can on the internet. I've been surprised at how much some of these whiskeys go for on the, that they've included in the kit.
Right. These are not cheap liquors.
No.
So
at least they're not asking cheap prices for them.
Right. Okay. Oh, this is an Italian whiskey.
Yeah, this is, and it's distilled in the Alps, up in northern Italy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't really think about Italy as being a place that makes whiskey.
Nobody does.
Yeah, interesting. Again,
nobody thinks France makes whiskey either, or Israel. That's been nice about this box.
It's really gone around the world, just like it claimed. So they say for the nose.
Wait, I'm getting a medicinal aroma.
Oh, I love medicinal aromas.
Kind of almost a Band-Aid.
Oh, which in our smelling kit means a smell of leather.
Leather, yeah.
Which is interesting. So they don't mention that. They say hints of delicate candy floss sweetness intertwine with lush vanilla nuances and fragrant ripe peaches.
Well, that's a lot.
I do get a little of that
That's
peach.
a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Oh,
it doesn't smell like whiskey at all.
There is a strong peach finish.
Oh, goody.
It's very Italian. It reminds me of a very good Pinot Grigio.
It's smooth.
It's super smooth. It's almost got a wine characteristic rather than a whiskey characteristic. I mean, it's boozy like whiskey.
Yeah.
But it's got this really beautiful, light floral wine aroma.
Yeah, no burning. Well, maybe it's a little warming now. We'll call it warming.
It's warming in my gums.
Oh, it's on my heart for me. But palate, white roses and subtle spicy oak wood notes with citrus, apple, and pear. Finish, banana, ripe mango, and caramel, invigorated by traces of white pepper. That was very interesting.
$99 available in the U.S. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Two nice Solstice examples here for you.
Liked it.
And that's it.
Yeah, happy solstice.
Happy Solstice. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. And we'll be back next week on Christmas Day to share the last two whiskeys with you.
Yeah, this has been fun. Thanks.
Until then, I say à tout à l'heure and cheers.
Cheers.